Testing. 1, 2, 1, 2. Episode 40. Good start. Episode 45 from memory of the Matt Gamer podcast. 45 episodes. Not as consistent as I sort of would have liked, but I think that's sort of what comes with podcast. I've noticed over the years is that some podcasts have seasons and that's okay too, and sort of like the stuff I sort of drop into is sort of like an intuitive feeling that I've got to be sort of in that right place to be able to just come on here and just speak about whatever's going on without any filter or any sort of any sort of shade to it. It's just sort of whatever's coming through for me at the moment. But Happy New Year, everyone. Hope everyone's had a beautiful start to the new year. I know it's been it's only like 15 days into the new year, but I feel like New Year's was like 7 months ago, which for me I think is a good thing. I like that feeling of like feeling like I've lived, feels like it's been 5 months since New Year's and it's only been 15 days. I think, for me anyways, the last couple of weeks really dialing into my practices and sticking true to the things that fill me up and, make me feel on top of my game. And I think from that, I get a lot of days that feel very long and present, not in a bad way long, but like in a good way, like just really immersed in the moment, focusing on the little details and just enjoying the day. Some days I'll work in the morning, come home, might read, and then might meditate. And then when I come out of my meditation, I feel like I worked 3 days ago. And I sort of move on to the second part of the day, which is such a nice feeling. But yeah, sort of had a couple people last week and this week sort of ask when the next episode's coming out, which is nice. Some people have been checking and waiting, being like, what's going on? So yeah, just busy start to the year, to be honest. The gym's been taking up a lot of energy. We've got a lot of new faces already. The gym's very busy at the moment, actually, and it's a good feeling to put my energy into that because, that brings in the bills and pay. That's the bread and butter to our family. So, having that, busy is a really soul-filling thing, especially jumping in the sessions, trying to keep up with everyone. Like, there's just some crazy, crazy people out there that just, I don't know how people train at G3 every day. I've done Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Today's Wednesday. I'm completely cooked. I can't wait to have tomorrow off. But it just shows the level of commitment people have to themselves and to what they want to accomplish. But yeah, if we go, might as well go straight into it. What's been coming up for me lately? A big thing that's been coming up for me lately is knowing that the stuff that sticks true to me and knowing and understanding who I am a little bit more has allowed me to find my sort of safe place, you could call it. In life, we're always going to move through stuff. We're always going to experience, hurt and disappointment and like all those emotions. Like the pendulum swings both ways and we're always going to feel whatever we're going to feel. We're always going to move through different things and we're here to learn. We're here to live a human experience and we're here to learn our lessons and, pay back any karmic debt that we have from previous lifetimes. And yeah, one thing I've noticed is it's very simple if I want to make it simple. I know and and we all know deep down what's right, what makes us feel the best we can feel with whatever we're moving through. And for me anyways, I know with my meditations, for me, my three biggest things is I've got to move I've got to eat clean, and I've got to meditate. And for me, those three things are non-negotiables. And allowing myself to stay true to those things just keeps me at that nice, center. And then when things do come up, I was talking about this the other day on a walk with a friend. It was like when I'm not sticking true to my practices, when something comes up, it's very close to me. Like it's very like I'm straight away, I'm in it. Why did they do that? Why can't they be like that? All that shit that fucking will come up. The ego will creep in however it can. They should learn how to do this. Why can't they just be like this? They need to do this and all that bullshit. We get it every day. A little voice will always show. I've noticed when I stick true to the things that I know make me feel a certain way, sticking as clean as I can to my diet, I'll still have something maybe cheeky on a Wednesday night and then a cheat meal on a Saturday or just Saturday nights, whatever. But knowing that if I keep it at least at that 85%, I'm good. And then meditating every day at least for 20 minutes, sticking true to that, and also training, which is non-negotiable. I know that when things do arise, I've sort of got like a little bit of a gap between it. That's sort of like it's me and the thing is about 2 meters away. So like for me, I can observe the thing that's happening and it gives me an opportunity to whether I want to jump into it or not. It just gives me that little bit of leverage, you could call it, to be like, do I really want to entertain this thing that's arised? Do I really want to feed it? And do I want to start the whole chatter of the back and forth in my mind with the ego, and then I can sort of look at it and go, no, that really doesn't disturb my peace. I feel really good at the moment. Where if I'm not sticking true to my practices and sticking true to who I am, and that comes and it comes up in a lot of different ways, whether it's talking shit, not showing up, always sitting on my phone. That's another thing. I'm not going on social media till midday. I've stuck true to that for the last 2 days. And then today I just reshared a fucking mad playlist I found. And I just reshared it and I didn't check socials or anything. Of a bit of a side note of a playlist that's like all the OG R&B songs that I grew up listening to probably got it on an iPod somewhere. Found that, so I reshared that, but I don't actually click on socials until midday, and that's been 2 days now, and that has been fucking so nice to just know that I will do all that. I'll jump into that cyber world from midday onwards. So from when I wake up, which is anywhere between 4 and 5:30, I'll do what I got to do for 6 hours, and then I'll jump into the cyber world and sort that business stuff out. But I've just noticed that I feel a lot cleaner. I feel a lot clearer. I'm sort of looking at the details of little different things, which is a really nice feeling to just drop myself into the present moment. And yeah, just sticking true to my practices and knowing what works for me and understanding that I'll always have to come back to this. So like, when things do arise, I'm sort of knowing that as long as I stick true to this, my things that, my non-negotiables then, and staying disciplined, I know whatever I'm moving through won't feel as heavy. And I think it's about people finding what works for them, because a lot of people on social media and fucking YouTube and all that shit will tell you 1,000 different things. It's like, you got to do this and you got to do this and you got to journal and you got to do mantras and you got to meditate and you got to do yoga and you got to fucking stretch and you got to do blah, 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 blah. It's like so much. The internet's amazing in so many different ways. I couldn't produce this podcast if it wasn't for the internet, but there's so much noise on there, and that's why I think, for me anyways, my thing is not going on till midday. It gives me that opportunity to drop into who I am and what works for me, so then I'm not sort of sidetracked or questioning the ability of knowing who I am through this little device we have, and which is attached to us at any given time. There's been days there that, I'll, like, my ego will be like, go check your phone again, and I just checked it 10 minutes ago and I'm on Instagram again scrolling, and, it's not healthy. There's so many little things it does to you unconsciously. You don't even realize. You can get off a 20-minute fucking scroll and just be like, I'm so tired. It's just because you've just doused yourself in all this stupid information that, like, what do you remember? Like, if I ask someone, what do you remember that you were on social media for 3 hours yesterday, what do you remember on there? And it's like 99% of the things will be like, I don't know. I think I remember one of the memes I seen and I laughed. Like, it's irrelevant, and I know it's useful when it comes to business and socializing and connecting and, in that sense, but the human connection that we should be having on a daily basis or even a couple days a week is the most soul-filling thing that you can do. That's why I'm very blessed and grateful for G3 for my own health and mental well-being, is that the simple fact of I train there every day, and it gives me that 45 minutes to an hour to drop in with the people that I'm with that are very like-minded, because we're all at the gym at stupid o'clock to train and focus on ourselves. Find that energy, move the body, get out of the head into the body, and then go on with our days, whatever we've got going on. It's such an important factor that that we all need in our lives, is to find out what works for us. Don't get sidetracked of like, I don't journal, and for me, I can't journal. It's not my thing. I've tried it, and I just know that it's not my thing. Breath work, like I try and intuitively focus on my breath, especially before I go to bed. I try and make that the last thing I do, which gets me out of all those thoughts of like, don't forget that tomorrow, you got to do that. Haven't you done that? Blah, blah, blah. I just lay there on my back and I focus on my breathing. And that's the last thing I do before I go to bed. But I'm not really into the morning rituals of breath work. I sort of get up at early anyways, and I got to like sort of get up and go. So I know that for my thing, it's my training. It's running now. Like, fucking never in my wildest dreams would I thought I'd be a runner. And now I'm like addicted to running. I've got running socks and it's all happening. But I know why I'm so addicted to that feeling. It's because I'm not on my fucking phone and I'm running and I'm having to focus on my breath. It's like you have to focus on your breath when you're running. And it gets me out of my head and into my body, and it's funny how all these things, meditation, training, for me, running, eating clean, being around like-minded people and having that human connection, all those things have one thing in common. It's like it's got nothing to do with my phone. It's got nothing to do with this cyber thing of, it's funny that all the things that really fill up your soul, spending time with your family, spending time with your friends, all that stuff, it all evolves around not being on these devices, and everyone loves G3 and they're like, I love it. I'm like, yeah, because you don't have your phone with you for 45 minutes. You're not in between sets, like trying to scroll to see the next photo on Instagram or wait for that person you got to reply to. It's like everything can wait. Everything can be put aside, and you can focus on purely of what fills up your cup, which is obviously yourself. Whether you're moving, you're training, you're eating clean, whatever stuff makes you feel a certain way, you know what I mean? And that's one thing I've noticed for me this year, is really dialing in on my practices and understanding that. Tradies are outside doing their thing. I'm going to be in a thought about that sound the whole time. I'm going to shut this window. Welcome back to the Matt Gamble podcast. That's a little bit better. So just knowing that, the things that will fill me up and make me feel a certain way are things that I have to remember and consistently every single day remind myself. Because the ego will still come in. It's like, don't meditate, bro. You had a mad sleep. You don't need to like sit there and close your eyes for 20 minutes. Like, what are you going to get from it? Or it's like, just don't go to the gym today, bro. Like, you're tired. You might be a bit sore. Like, we've got to recover. And then it's like, nah, bro, just have a cheat meal tonight. Like, you've ate clean for 2 days. It's all good. Like, you deserve it, bro. It's like all that stuff will consistently show up when it can, and sometimes you'll miss the mark. Sometimes it'll get the best of you and it'll run wild. But sometimes it's like, no. here we go again. Here comes that little voice of like, that voice, the devil, you could call it, that's always going to show up whenever it can, you know, and every day, my aim of the game is to be as present as possible to watch it come up and go, oh, there we go. All right. You're telling me not to do something again. Why? Because you know how good it's going to make me feel. It's like even at the gym, we've got this little lolly jar that sort of sits behind reception. And I think it was Monday night. I walked past and I was like, oh, just have 2 snakes. And I watched it. And sometimes I will have 2 snakes and then be like, oh, fuck, it got me. And I was like, and I catched myself. I grabbed the lolly jar and I went, do I need 2 snakes? I'm about to go home and have dinner in like half an hour. And I was like, no. Where I know that if I had the 2 snakes, and this is for me anyways, a bit more harder on myself, but I know at the end of the night I'd be like, oh, you sort of ate clean, but you didn't really like hit the mark because you had those 2 lollies. And whether I had the lollies or not, it was like understanding that you got to be very mindful of that voice that will show up in any situation, or it'll always present itself. Even when you have conflict with people, it'll be like, oh, really? You're going to let them talk to you like that? Or like, they don't know, bro. Like, you know the way. You've got to tell them what you think. Like, you've got to get your point across. And 99% of the time, it's just someone's perspective on whatever's going on, you know. And when you can accept that, not everyone's going to see this world the way you do. And not everyone's going to agree with you. Not everyone's going to see your vision. Not everyone's going to understand you as a person. Not everyone's going to like you as a person and what you believe in. It's just like you cannot even start to put energy into trying to make that work, because you're really trying to box everyone in and you're trying to make everyone see this world the way you do. You're trying to make everyone be a certain way. It's like that's absolutely got nothing to do with you at all. You know, the thing that you have to focus on is what's true to you. The right people find you. You know, it's such an effortless feeling and such a beautiful feeling when you can stick true to who you are and the right people just gravitate into your life. Like, so effortlessly, it's like that you've known them for years and you're just like, oh, yep, there's a soul brother. That's exactly what's supposed to happen. We're exactly aligned, and this is exactly what this energy field is supposed to be filled with, is good people, you know. That's exactly the way you find your right people, is when you can stick true to yourself. Nothing worse than being in a filtered friendship where it's built off gossip, it's built off hate, it's built off, you know, talking about other people. Like, gossip is such a fucking energy sucker. Like, and you just think that you're filling something up by making yourself feel better talking about someone else. But like, bro, you know, every time you leave that conversation, there's a hole in that cup and the water's just going out, and you're always going to be left feeling empty. As much as you think your ego's going to be like, yeah, that'd be right. You talk about them and you make yourself feel better because they're doing this and they're doing that. It's like, the reason you're talking about someone else is because deep down in your soul, there's something in there that you don't like, where that's the rule. It's like, it's got nothing to do with you. Everyone else's opinions and perspectives and whatever they think, it's got nothing to do with you. You know, you just let people be who they are, love them for who they are, and accept that not everyone's going to align with you. Because that was one thing for me. I wanted everyone to understand my way of being. I wanted everyone to understand and, you know, like listen to what I'm saying and get it in there, and, you know, this is the way. It's like, bro. And then I learned the hard way. I was like, bro, everyone's way is their own way. As long as, so then it just sort of got rid of all that excess stress and baggage on my shoulders of trying to show up a certain way. I just show up as me, and if people resonate, they resonate. If they don't, then that's okay too, you know. I love you anyway. It's got nothing to do with me if this stuff sits with you or it doesn't, you know. I'm not here to change the world. I'm here to change myself with that. And when I change myself, then it'll ripple out into the universe, and the universe will put me in the places and positions and around the certain people that I need to be around, you know. And that's the best thing about this journey. It's such a beautiful thing. I've just, you know, the greats always talk about just let go, you know. And when I used to hear that, I'm like, let go of what? Like, don't care. Like, let go and just be free. It's sort of like, now I'm starting to feel what they're talking about. It's like, let go of all those stories you're telling yourself. You probably think you have to do a certain thing. You probably think you have to land this certain job. You probably think you have to have this certain way. All this stuff that you think it should be the way. And how many times in life that, you look back 10 years from now and you thought you were going to be here and doing that and being there with them and this and that. And then the next thing you know, the universe has other plans. And 10 years later, you're on a completely different route. The route you did not pick, you did not even envision. And hopefully it's a better route than you thought that you were supposed to have or whatever. So, yeah, really letting go of all those stories I'm telling myself and showing up as me consistently is such a beautiful feeling, because it's very effortless when you can discover who you are and go on that journey and then come from that place in any conversation. It's just show up as you. Like, don't show up as anyone else but you. And I'm very blessed and grateful that, the things that I do in this world, whether it's, coaching, life coaching, a trainer at the gym, the podcast, a friend, a partner, a dad, a friend, whatever, a son, that as long as I can show up as me, then I'm always feeling that nice layer of happiness, because I know that as long as I can just stay true to who I am and what my values are and what I'm about, then everything else can take care of itself. And that's exactly what happens, because it's such a beautiful feeling when you show up as you take care of yourself and what you're about and who you are, and things just start happening around you. And you look at it and you go, oh, well, there, look at that. Oh, wow, look at that. How crazy is this? This is all just happening, and I'm just here and I'm just enjoying it. It's like I'm watching a movie right now. I have that feeling sometimes of like watching myself in a movie, and I'm just moving. I'm just taking action, showing up. Even when I don't feel like showing up, I still show up. I give it my best. I stick true to who I am. I'm very mindful of good conversations with good people that you might not feel that resonance with. You just let them sit at bay, show up when you got to show up, and the universe takes care of the rest. And it's such a beautiful feeling to go on that journey. And it's clear that you guys are on that journey. If you're listening and you're this far in this pod, I love you guys. I'm wishing you nothing but the most amazing year ahead. But knowing that it'll play out the way it's supposed to. I think I said it on the last pod, it was like at the end of every year, if you say, for example, you gave me a sheet of paper today and said, write down exactly how that you want the year to play out. And then we fast forward to the 29th of December. I will always look back the last 3 or 4 years, and I did not even envision any of those things happening compared to what I would have wrote down on that paper. So for me this year, I'm just like, you know what? This year will play out however it's supposed to. I will continuously come back to the present moment. I'll continuously enjoy wherever I'm sitting and wherever I'm at, because it's the only thing that's real is this moment, and everything else will play out the way it's supposed to. And it doesn't mean that I don't put effort into certain things. I will put my energy and put my heart forward and move forward with good intentions and pure intentions and good energy, but the universe will take care of the rest. It's such a beautiful feeling when you can just let go of all those stories and think that you have to be a certain place at a certain time and let the universe take control of the rest. It's powerful. There's a powerful force out there that's bigger than you and I that controls all this stuff. All your job is focus on the energy and the place that you're at with the best intentions possible, and if you really become quiet and dive deep and ask your soul what's going on, you'll get the answer. You will. You'll know where you're not showing up where you should be, whether it's with relationships, friendships, parenting, business, money, health, success. Where you're not showing up. As I'm saying this right now, there's probably already things showing up. It's like you're not eating as healthy as you could. You're not training as much as you should. You should start meditating. How much that helps. You got to get back into reading. Why don't you start running? You've been wanting to do that for ages. Just got to start. You're not showing up properly with your parents. And just the first thing you do is face the music. Like, ask yourself, where can I show up better? and whatever comes up, take action with it. Like, because the ego will come up and be like, yeah, but man, like, you got to be fit before you start running. It's like, yeah, but like, work's been really busy. Like, how do you have time to food prep? It's like, yeah, but like, this person pissed you off, so why should you have to be their friend? Or like, yeah, but like, it's your time away to spend some money where you shouldn't, that you don't have that money to spend. Like, all that stuff will come up the second that you start to see whatever it is that you know that you can show up better, and face the music. I know for me, I was like, over the Christmas break, I knew my ego was going to be like, yeah, just have 2 weeks off eating shit. I was like, you know what? Have 2 days. I have Christmas Day and Christmas Eve, and then I'm going to train both days. I'm going to fast. I know for the last couple of weeks for me, it was like social media was it's my kryptonite. So this week it was Monday. My beautiful friend, the Slank in Melbourne, Perth, sorry. He sent me a message saying, hey, bro, I've got to go back to my midday ritual. I don't check socials till midday. I'm like, thank fuck you said that, because I'm the exact same. I need to do the exact same thing. So he's been my accountability buddy with that. And that's my thing. For me, I socialize a lot of people. I've got 5 Instagrams I work off. And, I'm trying to keep up, where it's like the shit's always going to be there. The reply to the DM, the shared story, the hey, blah, blah, blah. How about you just check it when you're ready to check it? Don't let yourself get into that rhythm of trying to check it and be on top of it, because there's always going to be shit there. So for me, just that shift in itself, I've been eating really clean. I've been training. I've been recovering. I've been doing all my stuff. It's just that social media shit that I've got to cut out, which I have. And automatically it's been, fucking 2 days that I haven't gone on till midday. And fucking hell, I wouldn't have done this podcast if the last 2 days I was checking socials before midday. Guarantee. Because I'd just be mind-numbing myself. I'd literally be on socials right now in the room, fucking getting back to some bullshit. So, I know that this podcast fills me up. Being able to do pods and hearing responses and people being like, fuck, I needed to hear that. That's what kicks me into gear and makes me feel fulfilled. So, and by doing that, the byproduct of ensuring that I stick true to my stuff, especially this social media till midday, gives me the opportunity and the energy to jump on here and do a pod, and I know 100% if I was on socials Monday, Tuesday before midday, I wouldn't be sitting here, because subconsciously I'd be thinking that there's something better out there to do. And it's like, what do you get? What's the difference between doing a podcast and sitting on social media for an hour or half an hour, whatever it is? It's like, that shit numbs me and this shit fills me up, So question yourself with that social media stuff, because I'm telling you, I guarantee it's probably fucking 90% of everyone's addiction. If you can't go a day without social media, they say you are addicted. So check in with yourself with that. Start building some disciplines and practices around social media, because it is a fucking bad way to fucking rope you in. For me, I don't have any notifications on. The first step for me is I don't have, unless it's a text message, it'll come up. But everything else, Facebook Messenger, Instagram, Facebook, I don't have Snapchat, but all that other shit, I just turned all the notifications off. So I won't have a notification until I check it. And when I click on it, then all the fucking red alert dots will show up. So check in with yourself with that, because that's for me the biggest thing that I don't want to dial in on this year. I know this podcast keeps me accountable with it. So yeah, wishing everyone the most amazing new year. A little bit of a shorter one today. I'm absolutely fucking starving from HIIT this morning. But I hope this is just enough juice to get out there to get people into the rhythm of finding what works for you. If I could give this podcast a summary, it's like, and probably call it the name, is find out what works for you. Don't feed into everyone else's, you got to do this, you got to do that. Because then you just freak out and you just think there's too much shit. And then you're like, fuck it. Just simple, effective practices that stick true to you, what fills up your soul. You know where you can show up better, and just do your best to show up better in those areas. So with that being said, episode 45 over and out. I love you all. And until next time, see you on the flip side.